How do you lose a war without firing a shot? Let industry rot, silence dissent, politicize the military, and still ask for billions. Let's expose the Pentagon's bipartisan collapse.
For General Kane, curious your thoughts. Now you're in the chair officially. China's building ships about 230 times faster than we do. Our ability to scale our maritime industrial base has been the subject of much discussion. And my biggest concern is we could give the Navy unlimited funds right now, and even that wouldn't be able to fix the problem we have within the existing paradigm. And we have to rethink how we acquire, deploy, and maintain our Navy. As we approach potentially a new CNO taking the seat here, what are we doing at the department level to explore alternative ways like leasing a Navy, like giving private industry the incentive to build stable requirements, towards stable requirements with consistent engineering specs so that they can build to these requirements, let private industry take some risk and extend themselves on this so we can benefit from the ability and the agility of private industry to solve problems quickly.
Well, sir, thanks for your question. I share your concerns about how fast we're building ships. I'm encouraged, though, by the leadership that the Deputy Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of the Navy, the current acting CNO have all been leaning into this, as well as the other parts of the department, acquisition and sustainment, and research and engineering. You know, I've not heard yet on a leasing discussion. As you know, as a former aviation business owner, there's ops leases and things like that that offer capability at different models. There's been some experience of that on the Hill before. I'm thinking back to Senator McCain had some strong views on leasing in a prior life, but I would defer that conversation to our OSD colleagues, sir, who would drive that.
Okay. Well, I think we have to think outside the box, and that's true on all defense acquisition programs, and I welcome either of your thoughts as well. You know, Senator Warren and I actually have recently partnered on an initiative that is praising what Secretary Driscoll's done at the Army side to expand the flexibility of the services to have more alternative pathways. I go back to our MRAP program about 15 years ago, a program which saved my life and the lives of many other servicemen, I'm sure in this room as well. So finding alternative ways to acquire things is really what we have to do now. And if we continue to try to jam, you know, a turkey into the garbage disposal and just give more and more money to a process that frankly has been failing for decades, I think we need to try to fix the process first. And I'd be curious as to either of your thoughts, an open response as to what we can do immediately here to start reforming our defense acquisition paradigm so we can keep pace with, it's not a near-peer threat with China, they are a peer. So it is a peer-to-peer threat. How are we going to reform our industrial base to keep pace with it?
Sure, I think this could be a much longer conversation, which I'm happy to have with you. I note that the lineup of leaders that we have in the Congress right now, here in this committee and the other side, the leaders in the department, the leaders in industry, it feels like we have the team now who will actually move the ball, grab a hold of that entrepreneurial spirit that America is so well known for, and get after it. We cannot, I'm mindful of the work that's been done before. We cannot continue to move on the same trajectory, and we must get after this. We owe it to the joint force to be properly armed at scale with the right capabilities so that they can win and come home. And so I'd love to partner with you on that, as I know our OSD colleagues would as well.
Well, in the speed at which we've solved our recruiting challenges, hopefully we can do the same thing with the ability to make bullets, bombs, artillery shells, planes, and ships, because we owe it to the 17, 18, 19-year-old kids who are going to be fighting these systems on the front line to make sure they have enough of them to replace attrition, and also that those systems are as good as they can be when they need them. Thanks for your time today.
Senator Schatz just dropped a nuclear truth bomb. We can give the Navy unlimited funds, and it still wouldn't solve the problem. Why? Because the Pentagon acquisition system is a dumpster fire of inefficiency and legacy contracts. Meanwhile, China's naval fleet is exploding in size, while ours sinks under bureaucratic sludge. And when asked about out-of-the-box solutions like leasing, crickets. General Kane tap dances around the idea like it's radioactive. This is the problem. We have generals and secretaries more concerned with not rocking the boat than with building any boats. We don't need another blank check. We need a wartime production mindset. The Pentagon doesn't need more cash. It needs a reckoning. And if you're not ready to burn the old playbook and build a new one from scratch, you're just decorating a tomb. If the Navy's collapse was quiet desperation, then part two is sheer democratic panic. Enter Representative Slotkin, armed, furious, and unrelenting, exposing the militarization of America from the inside out.
Senator Sheehy and General, I would love to be part of that longer conversation about that issue. Thank you, Senator Sheehy. Senator Slotkin.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Secretary, I said in your hearing, when you had your confirmation hearing, that my biggest concern with you at the helm was the potential use of the military in ways that contradict the Constitution or that taint what I hope we all want, which is an apolitical military. And when I asked you about whether you would accept an order that was actually given to your predecessor, Secretary Esper, Trump's SecDef, to deploy active duty troops against unarmed protesters and to, in Secretary Esper's words, shoot at them, shoot at their legs. You said this was all theoretical. Here we are, a few months later, you've deployed 4,700 troops to Los Angeles and against the wishes of the governor. And my colleague across the aisle was right. It is the first time since 1965 that we have deployed Guard troops without the permission of the governor. In all the instances he laid out, the president had sent in the military to protect protesters, not against the protesters. So you may dismiss it, but I feel like this is a fundamental issue of American democracy. If you love your country and you want an apolitical military, then it should be the last resort, not the first resort in our country to use them. So to get to the non-theoretical, have you authorized the uniformed military to detain or arrest protesters in Los Angeles?
Senator, I would just start by saying you're not a protester if you're throwing concrete
100%.
at law
Arrest those
enforcement
people.
officers.
Throw them in the jail. 100%. But what you're doing is something different. Everyone knows this is a political decision, right? So we don't trust that you're using the best interests of the military, certainly, and of democracy on top of that. So have you given the order? That's all I want to know. It's not theoretical. For the U.S. military, not law enforcement. They can arrest all day long. That's their job. Do they have the ability, the uniformed military, to arrest and detain protesters currently today? It's a yes or no thing, authority.
It's sort of amusing the extent to which the speculation is out there. These troops are given very clear orders.
Then what is the order? Then list it out for us. Be a man, list it out. Did you authorize them to detain or arrest? That is a fundamental issue of democracy. I'm not trying to be a snot here. I'm just trying to get the actual, did you authorize them to do that?
All of these orders and what they're sent there to do are public. They are there
so
to...
say it. So say it. Yes or no?
I'd like to.
Please, yes or no?
As I've said time and time again through interruption, they're there to protect law enforcement,
do they have
ICE
the ability
officers
to arrest?
who are trying to do their job, deporting illegals who were allowed in by the previous administration.
So they cannot arrest and detain citizens of the United States, the uniformed military.
As we've stated, if necessary, in their own self-defense, they could temporarily detain and hand over to ICE. But there's no arresting going on. And you know this better than you're trying to play political games. There's no arresting of U.S. personnel.
Of the U.S. military against members of the protest. Have you authorized U.S. military cyber tools to investigate people participating in these protests? Yes or no?
Certainly in no way that I'd be aware of.
Okay, that's good. I love that answer. That's great. Have you given the order to be able to shoot at unarmed protesters in any way? I'm just asking the question. Don't laugh. Like the whole country. And by the way, my colleagues across the aisle.
What is that based on? What evidence would you have that an order like that has ever been given?
It is based on Donald Trump giving that order to your predecessor, to a Republican Secretary of Defense, who I give a lot of credit to because he didn't accept the order. He had more guts and balls than you because he said, I'm not going to send in the uniformed military to do something that I know in my gut isn't right. He was asked to shoot at their legs. He wrote that in his book. That's not hearsay. So your poo-pooing of this, it just shows you don't understand who we are as a country, who we are. And all of my colleagues across the aisle, especially the ones that served, should want an apolitical military and not want citizens to be scared of their own military. I love the military. I served alongside my whole life, so I'm worried about you tainting it. Have you given the order? Have you given the order that they can use lethal force against honor? I want the answer to be no. Please tell me it's no. Have you given the order?
Senator, I'd be careful what you read in books and believing it, except for the Bible.
Oh, my God. So your former predecessor, I guess that's not enough for you. Okay, on Iran. I don't think there's a debate. There's like a cat fight going on in your own party about whether to go after Iran. Have you commissioned any day after planning? So any force protection, any use of ground troops in Iran, any cost assessments? Because I don't think we doubt what we can do as a country in the attack. It's the day after with Iraq and Afghanistan that so many of us have learned to be so deeply concerned about. Have you authorized day after planning?
As I've said, we have plans for everything, Senator.
Okay.
Senator Slotkin isn't just questioning policy, she's torching a facade. This is about weaponizing the military against Americans. And the Secretary's smug, deflective answers? Proof that the Pentagon has become Trump's private army, deployed without consent, no legal thresholds, no transparency. When asked directly, did you order troops to arrest civilians, use cyber tools, approve lethal force? Hegseth fumbles and filibusters. But the real bombshell? He won't even deny that Trump ordered Esper to shoot protesters in the legs. Esper refused. Hegseth? He just laughs. That's not defense. That's disgrace. And as for Iran, he offers no real answers, just vague allusions to plans for everything, without admitting the administration is steamrolling toward another unending war. This isn't national security. It's authoritarian rot. And the worst part, Republican silence. If you care about the Constitution, the military, or your damn country, this should horrify you. Across these hearings, a dangerous theme has emerged. The United States military is being hollowed out, strategically, morally, and operationally. The Navy can't build ships fast enough to keep pace with China, and the only answer we get from Pentagon brass is deflection and double talk. Meanwhile, at home, the same military is being weaponized against civilians under orders from a man who treats dissent like treason and uniformed service like political cosplay. This isn't about readiness, it's about obedience. From anti-Semitic press secretaries to generals fired because a conspiracy influencer posted a tweet, to troops deployed to blue states against governors' wishes. What we're watching is not defense policy. It's authoritarian creep and camouflage. And when someone finally dares to ask if the troops were ordered to shoot Americans, the secretary laughs. Well, we're not laughing. Not when democracy is being undermined from inside its own defense apparatus. This is a fight for the soul of the republic, and silence is complicity. Expose the truth they fear most. Like, share, and subscribe to Malcolm Varon Hearing, where we shine a light on Pentagon lies and fight for a military that serves the people.